A jaglion is a hybrid animal created by crossing two different species. In this case, the father is a jaguar and the mother is a lioness. The result is a jaglion, but such an animal can never be born naturally in the wild. It only exists in captivity, in zoos or special breeding facilities. Jaglions have a very unique appearance. Their bodies often resemble lions in shape and color, but with the distinctive black rosettes of the jaguar spread across their fur. Their faces lean more toward lions, but the eyes and expressions often mirror a jaguar's. They are usually smaller than either parent species, and their behavior is conflicted. At times, they act social and group-loving like lions, but in the next moment, they can turn solitary and aggressive, like jaguars. Humans have always been fascinated by hybrids. Horses and donkeys were crossed to create the mule, zebras and horses to make the zorse, zebras and donkeys to form the zonkey, and lions and tigers to create ligers and tigons. Each hybrid is born out of human curiosity, but they almost always share the same fate: health problems and sterility. The Jaglion falls into this same tragic category. The first Jaglion was born in 2006 at a wildlife sanctuary in Canada. By accident, a lioness and a jaguar were placed together, and from them came two Jaglions, a female named Jazara and a male named Tsuki. These cubs quickly gained international attention because of their striking appearance. But behind that beauty lay a harsh reality. From the moment they are born, Jaglions carry health issues. Genetic mismatches between jaguar and lion DNA often result in heart problems, kidney disorders, stunted growth, and shortened lifespans. Many jaglions die soon after birth, and those who survive often struggle throughout their lives. Another tragedy is sterility. Most male jaglions are sterile, which means they cannot reproduce or carry their bloodline forward. Female jaglions are sometimes fertile, but even then, the chances are extremely rare. The jaglion, therefore, is a biological dead end, with no future generations. If released into the wild, a jaglion would almost certainly not survive. It cannot live like a lion because it lacks a pride to hunt with. It cannot live like a jaguar because it isn't fully adapted to climbing trees, swimming rivers, or marking territories. It does not belong to either world. Its instincts are confused, and that confusion costs it survival. Even in behavior, the jaglion lives in an identity crisis. Sometimes it displays the social nature of lions, enjoying groups and companionship. Other times it turns solitary, fierce, and unpredictable like a jaguar. It lives in a constant struggle with itself. Now think about this: an animal born only because humans wanted to see what would happen. It never chose to exist. From its very first breath, its freedom was taken away. It lives its entire life in captivity, not as a true species of nature, but as a curiosity, a living experiment. When compared to other hybrids, the jaglion's misery becomes even clearer. The liger, born from a lion and a tiger, is the largest cat on Earth. Yet even ligers suffer from health issues and sterility. The tigon, another lion-tiger mix, faces similar problems. At least the mule, a horse-donkey hybrid, serves a purpose for humans. But the jaglion has no role. It is simply a rare attraction, admired for its looks but destined for a life of suffering. The jaglion may appear unique and fascinating, but its story is one of sadness. It is a misfit of biology, unable to fully belong to lions, jaguars, or to carve out its own place in nature. It exists only because of human interference, and because of that, its life is defined by limitations, captivity, and tragedy. Being born as a jaglion may look special, but in truth it is a curse. To truly understand why being a jaglion is so difficult, we need to look beyond its unique appearance and into the very science of hybrid animals. Every species carries its own set of genes, refined over millions of years of evolution to adapt to a specific environment. When two different species are forced together, their genetic codes often clash instead of blending smoothly. The result is an animal that looks extraordinary, but one that carries invisible burdens inside its body. In the case of the jaglion, the mismatch between the jaguar's DNA and the lion's DNA creates complications at the cellular level. Organs may not develop properly, Hormones may not balance correctly, and the immune system may not function as strongly as it should. Even if a jaglion looks healthy on the outside, many of them suffer silently from issues that shorten their lifespans. This is nature's way of saying that such combinations were never meant to be. But the story of hybrids doesn't end with the jaglion. Take the liger, for example. A cross between a male lion and a female tiger, it is often celebrated as the largest cat on Earth. Some ligers can grow to more than 1,000 pounds. But the truth behind this giant is not as glamorous. Many ligers face obesity, joint problems, and heart disease. They are too big for their own bodies because the growth-regulating genes of lions and tigers do not balance out. Tigons born from a male tiger and a female lion are the opposite. They often remain smaller and weaker, and many of them die young. The jaglion's problems mirror those of these other hybrids. And yet, while ligers and tigons have gained some popularity in captivity, jaglions remain extremely rare. Only a handful exist in the world, and almost all of them are products of accidents or intentional breeding experiments in captivity. Unlike ligers, which some zoos breed deliberately for attraction, most institutions avoid creating jaglions because the risks and ethical questions are too great. And that raises the question, should hybrids like the jaglion even exist? On one side of the debate, there are those who argue that such animals are cruel creations, born only for human curiosity and entertainment. They live short, troubled lives, never able to survive in the wild, and never able to pass on their genes. From this perspective, hybrids are tragedies, living beings forced into existence with no purpose other than spectacle. On the other side, some argue that hybrids can teach us about genetics, biology, and the limits of evolution. They see hybrids as natural experiments, opportunities to learn how DNA from two different species interacts. But even then, one must ask, at what cost? Is the knowledge worth the suffering of an animal that never asked to be born? For the jaglion, there is no happy ending. Its entire existence is confined to enclosures where it becomes an object of fascination for visitors, but also a silent victim of human interference. Unlike natural species, which have roles in ecosystems and relationships with their environment, the jaglion has no place in the circle of life. It is a life caught between worlds, belonging to neither the lion nor the jaguar, and to no future of its own. And this is what makes its story so heartbreaking. From the moment it is born, its fate is already decided. It will never roam free in the savannas like a lion. It will never stalk silently through the rainforests like a jaguar. It will never raise cubs of its own. Its life will always be one of captivity, curiosity, and compromise. When you look into the eyes of a jaglion, you don't just see a rare and exotic animal. You see a living paradox. You see the power of two great predators, but also the weakness of a creation that nature never designed. You see beauty, but you also see sadness. And perhaps the saddest part of all is that the jaglion's existence tells us more about humans than it does about animals. It reflects our endless desire to experiment, to create, to play with life as if it were clay in our hands. It shows how far curiosity can push us, even when the results lead to lives filled with suffering. Being born as a jaglion is not a gift. It is not a privilege. It is a struggle from beginning to end. And while humans may admire its rare beauty, the truth is that behind those spotted coats and powerful eyes lies a story of limitation, pain, and captivity. So the next time you hear about a jaglion, remember this. It is not a miracle of nature, but a reminder of what happens when humans interfere too much with the natural order. The lion was meant to rule the savanna. The jaguar was meant to dominate the rainforest. But the jaglion was never meant to be. And that is why, as fascinating as it may look, being born as a jaglion truly sucks.